I thought I'd read you a small thing from the newspaper today. It's Tuesday's newspaper, so it's recent. So I saw this small article, I thought I'd respond to it. The title of the article is "What About Daddy Porn?" Okay, so I'll start. At the height of the 50 Shades of Grey hysteria, I wondered if anyone could explain why pornography aimed at women is empowering, yet any man who uses porn is vilified as a pervert. First of all, I don't think men are vilified for using porn, and I guess that the reason that it's empowering for women is because there's not very much of it that's aimed at women, especially not publicly. Okay, so I'll keep reading. Women are free to write openly and explicitly about sex and the female orgasm, but a man who attempts to do the same, from a male perspective, would be condemned as a filthy beast and would attract the attention of the obscene publication squad. I don't think that's true. I don't think that women are open to publicly talk about the female orgasm. I think that men are. I think that men can talk about masturbation and things openly. In films there's lots of reference to men doing things, but there's hardly any reference to women doing things. So I don't think it's even true. I think I can name films where men looking at porn or so forth is mentioned, like in Kick-Ass. There was a small part of that where the main character referenced masturbation, and there wasn't some mass hysteria about that. But I can't remember any films recently or ever that have been even slightly referencing the female orgasm or anything, or masturbation or any of the female topics. It's just not a thing that happens. So I think that's not true at all. I don't think that women are openly or explicitly mentioning the female orgasm almost ever. You know, a few examples of it occasionally don't mean it happens and don't mean it's being accepted. Okay, I'll keep reading. Flavour of the month is Naomi Wolf's new book, Vagina, currently being serialised and discussed in graphic detail, most of it far too colourful to be repeated in a family-orientated column. Stop this and say, is this supposed to be a family-orientated column? Are people sitting around the breakfast table reading this column out to their children or something? Is that... I didn't realise this was supposed to be family-orientated. Given the topic in total, I would think it wasn't. I'll keep reading anyway. Meanwhile, September also sees the release of a movie celebrating the invention of the first mechanical vibrator. I had not heard of this film. It doesn't mention the title of this film. I didn't know there was a film coming out about vibrators. I did not know that. So, you've learnt something new already. Apparently there's a film coming out about vibrators. Oof. Whatever next. I'll keep reading. Can you imagine any mainstream producer commissioning a film about the invention of a sex aid designed for men? A blow-up doll, for instance? I can respond to that by saying that I couldn't imagine there being a film about vibrators, but apparently there's going to be one. So, on that basis, yes, I could imagine there being a film about blow-up dolls, because apparently there's going to be a film about vibrators. So, anything could happen. I'll keep reading now. And if I approached my publisher with an idea for a sexually explicit book called Penis, devoted to the male orgasm, he'd not only throw me out of the building, he'd probably call the police. I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true at all. I don't think you'd call the police just because you wanted to write a book about penises, and there's probably already books about that piece of anatomy out there. I don't know. I just think that most of this column is incorrect. That's all of the column, by the way, there's nothing else. I think just one book, 50 Shades of Grey, being for women, doesn't mean that women are suddenly explicitly talking about sex and it being accepted or anything. I think that if I explicitly started talking about the female orgasm, I would still be people would still view me as if I was a slut or something for doing so. You know, there's still a danger of that happening if I do so. Men still do get to openly talk about things on a much regular basis in films or in books and things like that, and this column seems to ignore that as a thing that's happened and seems to sort of say, well, we don't get a film about blow-up dolls. Well, apparently we're only just getting a film about vibrators. Why would we want a film about blow-up dolls anyway, or vibrators? I don't know. But yeah, what I'm saying is that most of the things that it's saying that men don't get, they've already got. And this one book, supposedly for women, doesn't mean that women are suddenly empowered about sex or the such. Not at all. I'd be impressed if there was people talking about females in a sexual way without it causing columns and hysteria and things. Like I mentioned earlier, that in Kick-Ass, the main character masturbating was just casually mentioned, and if you listen to a review of the film Kick-Ass, you won't hear them go, oh my god, they mentioned sex or anything, or making hysteria or writing columns about it. They'll be talking about Kick-Ass, the film, in terms of the main theme of the film. But if it had been a woman, then there'd be hysteria about if the one book about women, which I've not read 50 Shades of Grey, but one book aimed at women about sex, and you get columns about it, you get it mentioned on TV, you get it all over the place, like, oh, suddenly women are empowered or anything. No, it's just one book, one thing. That's all it is. It's just one thing. I think it would be impressive if females could be mentioned sexually and it not cause this amount of hysteria and not be compared to what men have got or anything. And it's like this column is written in jealousy. It's like, I imagine it's written by a man, but it doesn't say who it's written by. But they appear to be really jealous that the book wasn't for them. Even though they've got tons of other stuff out there. They're just like, what about daddy porn? Where's our porn? You've already got loads of it. What are you talking about, where's daddy porn? All over the internet.